Hello and welcome everybody to Crypto Rosetta. My name is Savage and today we're going to be having a look at AGIX. Before we jump into the price action, I just want to say thank you for watching. If you're enjoying the content, please smash that like button. If you're new to the channel, why not hit that subscribe button, turn on those bell notifications so you never miss a video, and why not leave us some feedback down below in the comments section. Always happy to hear from you. And yeah, in the description below, you'll also find a link to the Discord. Why not come check it out? Free to join. Once in the general chat area, just add mention a member of staff. We'll be happy to help you out. Okay, so we were looking at the two potentials here with this structure that either it could be corrective as an A, B, C, or alternatively we could be looking at this move, which we're looking at currently, which would be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So both of these options are valid. For the time being, we only have a three-wave move, so we have to be aware that this could actually look to break down after this move completes, but we will talk about that more later on in the video. So let's get into the subwave structure. So I've changed the subwave structure slightly. Just because we didn't come down as deep. So there's two ways we can look at this. We can either look at this as a 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, and then we're actually extending to the upside here, which we could potentially be looking for this fifth wave to complete, where we're looking at this as a 1, 2, 3. What we'd want to see is a fourth wave come down here. We can argue that it has completed over here, but I would want to see it be a little bit bigger, to be honest with you. I'd want to see if we actually get another push here, where we actually look to drop down to this 4139 to this 3814 area, and then push up one more time for this fifth wave to the upside. So this fifth wave currently target is sitting at this 4935 to this 4695, but this will adjust if this does push up slightly higher and we do move down, depending on how deep we move down. The deeper we move down within this move, this will obviously change the target zone. So if we had to move down to that 50%, it would be up there, that 53 to that 49.29 area. So that's something we can just have a look at and see how we might react around that zone. So if we do get this additional fourth and fifth here, I'd be looking at that then as the potential completion of this move. And then we could look for that deeper retracement for a fourth, which depending exactly where this completes, could actually look to break down towards this 27.95 at the top end of it to this 13.81 would be the lower end of it. 382 would be this 1888, which would bring us back into line with this previous structure here, which is quite a common thing to happen with fourth waves. So we'll have to see how it plays out exactly, but this is something we could actually see play out, where we come into this zone again, or potentially come back, retest this channel, and then look to move up one more time. So that's what we'll be looking for within that structure. We can see that I've pulled this channel from that wave 1 at the bottom to the wave 3, and effectively if we did come back up and retest this channel, it would be towards this, depending on how long this takes, towards a 60-cent range. So if we do continue to push up, that could be an interesting zone that we might look to move to. Yeah, so we're basically going to be looking for this additional fourth and fifth wave at this point. If we start to break down, we'd want to see this become a bit more substantial in size. We'd want to see quite a big move here that's going to take a bit of time for it to play out, and then we'd look for that fifth wave to the upside. But like I said, the other option is that potentially we look at this rather as a corrective structure, and basically I'm going to come back out here into the bigger time frame. If we look at this slightly different, we could look at this into this high point rather, and not as a corrective structure, but as a rather as a corrective structure, not as a impulse. And what we'd be looking at is from this high point here, effectively so if I pull this from this low point up here into this high point, effectively what we could have is a corrective structure where we are looking at this as an A, a B. Let me get this right on there. So we've actually come past this 1.618 of this though, so it starts to become less likely, but it is still possible that we can still reject down from here, and if we don't get to the correct, or if we don't get this additional fourth and fifth. So we need to just be careful with this fact, even though we have come past the 618 here, which is normally an area would get rejected off of. So it's becoming less likely that this is what's playing out, but we just need to see how we continue to the upside. If we fail to develop the fourth and fifth, we could still break down because it would still just be a three-wave move at that point. So if we drop back down and actually take part this 0980, it would invalidate that fifth wave to the upside. So we just need to keep an eye on this level on the retracement. So I'm just going to go back to the more likely option, which is that we are forming the 5-wave move, in my opinion, but we have to wait for the confirmation. And some interesting areas, because obviously these subwave structures can extend. Oh yes, that's what I wanted to do. I want to talk about the extension possibility. There is potential we have an extension within this move. So let me turn this off. Let's turn this back on. So effectively, we could also argue that we are still within this wave 3, and we're actually starting to get an extension within this third wave here, where this becomes a 1, 2, 1, 2, 3 into this high 4, and then looking for this fifth. So if we do get an additional deeper fourth wave here, this would potentially be what's happening. If we look at this zone where we'd look for support, it would potentially be here towards this 3979 to this 3241 at a fourth, as a regular fourth wave. But like I said, we need to just be careful, because this can extend out even further, where this becomes a 1, 2, 1, 2, and then we start to push to the upside. So we just need to wait for the confirmation of these moves. But a deeper fourth wave retracement would be into this zone here, this, like I said, this 3979 to this 3241. And if we actually do look down to break down deeper, there is a possibility that we could see something like this play out, where we move down deeper here, and actually we are going to extend again, where this becomes a 1 and a 2, and then it looks to continue to the upside. So we'll have to see. If we do break down, we could potentially still look to rally if we hold this 2738 to this 2043 area. However, if we start to lose this zone and we take out this 16411, effectively it would mean that we got potentially lower to come here again for one of the other options, which would be looking for that bigger fourth wave we just talked about. So this is looking for some potential extension here. Like I said, it is possible we look to actually come up higher here towards this top of this channel line here. So I want to talk about, I'm going to go back out to the daily here, and I'm actually going to turn off all of these. So there are some interesting zones just regarding fibs. So if we look at these two different fib areas, basically this is off of the first move here as a 1, 2, and then effectively looking at this as a 1, 2. So the 3.618 is actually up here at this 5276, which would be an interesting zone. That would be a 3.618 of this wave 1 over here. So that would be a zone, if we do look to extend, we might see some kind of a reaction off of. Alternatively, we could actually look to potentially move up to this 2.618, and that would be looking off of this wave 1 here, and basically saying that this wave 3 would be 2.618 of the wave 1, which would be up here at the 62387. So this would be a zone I'd be also looking at if we do get further extensions, because sometimes these subwaves become very complicated, and it's basically you have to wait for that confirmation. So we can see here that 2.618 would actually be almost a retest of this top. So that would be an interesting zone if we do move up a bit higher, that we could potentially look at a 1, 2, 3 up into the high, retrace for that fourth, find support, and then actually look to push up and break it. So that's something we just got to keep an eye on as we get these moves play out. So that would be an interesting zone. Alternatively, I'm going to throw on this other fib here, and we can see that we've come, if we're looking at this from this high point here, we've actually come up to this 0.854 already, which is this 42.94. So if we start to break down from here, it could actually indicate that we we're starting to move down for that fourth wave that we're talking about. What you can sometimes see within these structures is you'll see this move come down, it'll test this 1786, it'll move back up, test the 854, find rejection, and then sort of like move down towards the 618, and then sort of bounce between these fib areas. So that could be something where we will have to keep an eye on the way down, see how this progresses. But like I said before, there is potential that we could take this high and look to push up higher, but we just need to be aware, because we were also talking in the previous video about the fact that if we look at this from this perspective rather, so this has got a bit more data on it, all the way from here back at this $2 range. So it is possible that we could still face rejection in this zone, and we're currently sitting right in that golden pocket area. So that's looking at this move from the top to the bottom here. We're sitting right in that golden pocket at the moment, and I also drew this channel here previously, which we can see the top of this channel actually sits at this 50 cent range. So if we do move up here, it will be interesting to see whether we get a reaction off of this and then we actually start to move away, or alternatively, like I said, it can push up potentially higher here. Some areas of interest, if we do push higher, that could still mean that this is still a rejection to the downside as an A, a B, and a C, would be actually this zone here of the 786, and finally this 854 up here. So, these are areas we'll have to see how we react. For sure, this previous high at 72.32 would actually be an interesting zone as well. If we get a rejection off of there, it could be the start of that fourth wave. But like I said, we just have to see how this moves within the structure here, because I do think that we still are going to get a fourth wave, and it's possible that this fourth wave could come back into the zone here of this previous structure. We can see there's quite a lot of consolidation here. So it wouldn't be surprising to come back and actually get a retest of this zone, and then look to challenge these higher areas again. So we'll have to see how this plays out exactly. If we do get a 5-wave move like that, effectively what we want is that confirmation of a deeper ABC pattern to the downside. 3-wave move, whether that's a zigzag or flat or whatever it is, we'll have to monitor it as it plays out. But then we'd only after we find support and we start to move away again in 5-wave structure can we start to say that this is a bottom here. At the moment, this could still roll over. This could all just become a bigger W, something like this, a W, an X, and a Y to the downside still. So we just need to be careful of this move, because this can still roll over and it can still look to actually set a new low here. So just need to give it a bit of time and see how we play out. So we'll be tracking the moves as they happen, and we'll be trying to keep you up to date as best we can. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please smash that like button if you did. If you're new to the channel or you're watching and you haven't subscribed, you might as well hit that subscribe button, turn on those bell notifications so you get kept up to date with all the latest content as we bring it out. Also in the description below, like I said earlier, you'll find a link to the Discord. Come check it out, free to join. Also in there, you'll also find affiliate links to PrimeXBT and BYBIT, both great exchanges we use all the time when we're doing our own trades. Check them out. There are deposit bonuses if you meet the requirements, which you can find by pressing on the links below. They'll tell you all of that within that area. Also, using the affiliate links does help support the channel, and we do appreciate it if you do. Okay, so I'm going to leave it there. Everyone have a great weekend. We'll see you in the next one.